Hi all, welcome back to the screencast. In this video we are going to understand lists. Now list is one type of high level data structure that makes Python an efficient language and also a powerful language because you can do extraordinary stuff by using some complex list operations within one or two lines which you have to write a 50 or 60 line program in other languages. So let's start by invoking the Python interpreter. And now the way to create a list is either type this. Now I can just call a list function which is going to return a list and it will get stored in the variable a, or what I can do is I can just do this. So if I call, this is a square bracket, starting square bracket and ending square bracket. So lists are defined by that. Now let's append something to a list. Now okay, so you would have thought that this is fine in Python since everything is dynamic and we can just do a of 0 equal to 1. That is not correct. You have to use the function append. So let's see what all functions are there for a list data type. Now dir is a function which is going to take an argument of as an argument. So say you pass it a list argument. So what it will do, it will return all the list related methods. Now when I do dir of a string, an empty string, then it will return all the string of methods. So for now I want to understand what all functions or methods are there related to a list variable or data type. Now we have an append. So let's try appending. Now append takes one argument and it adds the argument that you pass as the next element of the list. So initially the list was empty. Now it has one value because you appended one. Now you append two, then it has two values. The second value is two. You can also append a list. Now A has three values. The first two values were initially present and the third value is the list object which you pass here. So contrary to intuition, this does not include 1, 2 and then 1, 2, 3. It includes 1, 2 and the list object. So we have to be careful by using append method. Now list, you can see, has an extend method. So logically speaking, append would just add an element to the last value and extend should extend the element. So let's try by that. I'll really initialize A to this and I'll call extend of B. I'm sorry, I don't have B. Okay, cool. I'll call extend. Now you can see this got extended. So each element of the second list was added into the first list. So since Python is a dynamic language, lists support any data type. So there is no such thing as integer list or string list or say any other data type specific list. You can have a list and you can have any type of elements inside a list. I mean the data type should just be a valid Python data type. So you can have any object inside a list. Now what I'll do is I'll check some other functions, say index. For checking a function, just call the function by using a and you'll get the error. Now the error is list takes at least one argument, 0 given, so 0 is the default. Now it you do a of index of 0 and it throws an error 0 is not in list. So you can clearly understand that index is a function which is going to provide the index of a uh, element. Now I have one twice in my list. So let's check what this will do. Okay, cool. So index is going to return the first index of an element. So this is great because then you don't have to write a search function by using a for loop. Now let's check insert. Now you can now understand that there is a function append which is going to insert an element at the -1 index, that is at the last of the list. Now what if you want to insert an element in some specific list, sorry, some specific point. So let's say you want to add an element at the first location, so you'll use index, sorry, insert. Now let's see pop. Cool. So when I call a of pop, it deletes the last element because I don't give it an argument. So what if I give it an argument 0? So okay, so it deletes the first zeroth element. I mean, it is as simple as this. All you have to do is start an Python interpreter session and just start calling the function. If it throws an error, fine, learn from the error and don't do the error again. If it does not throw an error, just look at what is happening, look at your variable and how the function is behaving, and you'll understand this better on your own. Obviously I know that index returns the index first index, or pop will delete the last value at, if you don't pass an argument, but I just wanted to highlight how you can understand this, because that is what is more important than me just telling you 10 functions and all. I'll encourage you all to go ahead and start the interpreter session and take a look at all the functions applicable to a list by calling dir. So I'll just summarize what we learned in this screencast. We learned how to create an empty list. You can either use a equal to list, you can either call the list constructor, or you can use b equal to this. So this will create an empty list. Now if you want to check a data type of a list, what is the data type of an object, you can call the type function which will return this class of type list. You can understand all the elements of a sorry, all the methods of a any variable rather by using dir. You can append, you can extend, you can pop, you can index. Just one last thing that I'll like to do here. Now a is a list here. I can loop in a list by calling this, sorry, this was a syntax error. So we were using for I in syntax all along. Now we are actually going to use it on a list. So when we did os.list dir on the first video itself, this this function call returned a list. So we have been using list before knowing what a list data type was. So there are two types of looping operations. One is you can do for I in A. What it will do, it will loop over each element in A. Or what you can do, if you want to loop over an index, you can do length is a function which returns the length of A. You can find out such functions by just calling dir. Oh no, sorry, dir of built-ins. So these are the built-in classes or methods. So you can see we have a next, we have a super, we have a tuple, we have a type, zip, ord, blah blah blah. We have a print, we have a quit, range. So these are the built-in operations which Python provides, and these are say help. Now help is something that this interpreter is going to provide, and not, I mean, you don't use it outside of the interpreter session. So you'll have the len somewhere. Let me find out. Yeah, you have a len here. So just type dir underscore underscore built-ins underscore underscore, and you'll get all the built-in built-in functions and methods. Now I'll just like to point out the difference between a function and a method. A function can be called anywhere. So print is a function because you can just call print. But extend is a method because you can call extend only on a list object. So methods are defined on a class and functions are defined as it is. So that is the difference between function and a method. So I'll end this screencast by explaining this looping operation. What is happening in this looping operation is we are looping from 0 till the length of your list, and you index, I mean you uh, index an element by using I, and I will start from 0 to the length of the list, right? And you fetch an element by using a of I. Now these are two different ways of looping in Python. The simplest way is do for I in A, then you just have each element and perform that operation on each element, or you can do this. We'll get to using these operations later. And this concludes the screencast on lists and understanding lists. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one.